Well, guys, it's been a tough offseason. And the other day, we had another tough blow. Arsenal decided to retire after a very notable career. Will go down as, at least for me, one of the most well known, memorable personalities that the scene had to offer after just over a 6 year career, dating all the way back to 2018 with the Peeps. Arsenal's decided to hang up the sticks. I wanted to talk a little bit more about his career, what I'll remember him for, and in the background, I figured we would watch one of the most memorable series of his career, in my opinion. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get onto the pitch. Welcome, guys. This is 2021-2022 Winter Major Lower Bracket Finals. I nailed it. First try. I definitely didn't try and record this before, and I goofed on the name. This is one of the series in RLCS history that has a moment. You know, there's a lot of series that we've had, a lot of great series. Well, great series with and without quotation marks. This is a great series, but it also has a moment. If you were to make a montage and be like, this is Rocket League, pun not intended, although this is Rocket League is the defining moment, this series also has one of the uppercase in bold moments. And it's going to be later in this series. This is game one against Team Queso. I wonder if these guys are going to be any good. Rise Joy of Atira. And, I want to talk Arsenal here a little bit, as Rise is just going to completely bail on an open net whiff. Don't want to make it too easy of a win, as Reddle's going to get a ground pinch save there, but too little too late. This pressure Team Queso used to put on teams was unbelievable. They really like to, I'm sure every team would like to, but Team Queso successfully were able to get out and punch teams in the mouth early and often. And we're going to see this one's going to get, a little bit rickety towards the end. Pretty dominant win by them to start things off. But Arsenal, the king of the unorthodox, is going to go for kind of a front flip fakie there, instead of going for the reset to try and water down this Queso defense. And then is going to get a demo there on Joyo, really encapsulating in 10 seconds there kind of all things that are Arsenal. A lot of speed, physicality, smarts, and just being a little unorthodox, keeping defenses guessing. Throughout this series, there's a lot of moments where Arsenal being, playing a little 3D chess, being a second ahead of the game, is going to get a bumper a demo that's going to soften up the defense and open up a lot of scoring chances for this SSG roster. And that's something that he was able to successfully do over the course of his career. In his 6-year, 3-month, and 10-day career, as I calculated, only 3 organizations, which is really impressive. With most players, we see them switching around fairly commonly. Some of them, I would assume, getting into the double digits. A player like Chaussette, for example, who we just covered recently, but could honestly probably cover as well now that he's retired. If you look at he's got a Rolodex of teams that he was a part of. Some is like active versus inactive stuff, but for Arsenal, only have 3 Peeps, SSG, and Dignitas, as we're going to get a full field roller there to put them up 3-0 here against Space Station. That's really impressive for Arsenal. Even weirder, he only had 8 teammates over the course of his career. I wrote him down in my notes on my phone, but let's see if I can do this. Come on, belleair. For the Peeps, Gyro AXB. Come on, belleair. For Space Station, Sip, Reddles. I almost said Arsenal. Daniel. And then Sip, Reddles, Daniel, AXB. Did I say him already? I think I said AXB for Pirates, or for Peeps, did I not? Pirates was his other teammate. I'm all over the place. Let me restart. Gyro and AXB. No. Nope. No. Last time, Gyro and Pirates. And then for Space Station, AXB, Reddles, Sip, Daniel. And then for Dignitas, Stizzy, and Evo. Because he also played with Gyro, but he'd already played with Gyro. We did it. I didn't even need to look at my notes. I knew all along. I memorized it. What if I wrote it on my hand? It's like, yay, just cheating. So to only have that as your resume means that Arsenal, you know, really had some staying power. The places that he was really liked him and enjoyed him is we're going to get 4-0 here to open things up. This is just not the opener that Space Station want, but don't worry, they're going to kind of tighten the gap. But, you know, another thing that I'm going to remember from Arsenal is when I had come on, Peeps was a little early for me, to be honest. I was familiar, but, you know, I was still playing a lot of basketball. Like, I wasn't really even into the RLCS yet. Peeps was a little before me, but when I started watching SSG times, Arsenal was one of the first, like, big content creators that I was familiar with. Infectious personality, definitely a little more, you know, jovial, a little more bubbly and like erratic than, you know, what I know him as now, but always enjoyable to watch, and one of the first people who really kind of got me invested in the scene. So you know, that's something that I'll definitely remember him for. And then some of his big moments on LAN too. Always animated, always, you know, super passionate, wore his heart on his sleeve. Those are all things that I'll remember Arsenal for. Unable to kind of pop the seal on this series early here. He's going to go under 100 points. Really couldn't get anything going, but credit to Queso. They were all over him, especially early. They bled 2 goals in the first 30 seconds, I think. Just, you know, great pressure. Just great pressure. So let's go ahead and hop over to game 2, and we'll kind of see what Space Station are doing on the pitch here and how Arsenal is an effective cog in this Space Station machine. All right, we are off of the classic Sipical made SSG decal, you know, the Octane with the sparkles that, you know, LJ kind of co-opted afterwards. Now we're on to the Fairy Peak Finnick. At least I think Fairy Peak was the first one to do this exact colorway with the... I always get it wrong. Is this the Your Bands? Is that what this decal is called? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, Chad, is this Your Bands? I'm trying to slowly work, you know, some more, you know, streamer energy into my replays, you know. So, chat, let me know how I'm doing below. Is this W's in the chat? All right. I'm already annoyed with myself. The old game rotation, too, where we're here on the beautiful field that I cannot remember the name of, and we're just going to move right on past it. Arsenal trying to get a little creative, go for like a ground dribble to get things going there. Is forced to jump early here by Rise, and then, oh my goodness. He gets it over the top. Vatira gets it over the top, but let's look at this. This is beautiful, as it's just going to come to a full stop here. Daniel's going to roll it, and it's just going to get too far away from him. Reset, slow, and then look at this momentum. The reset, and then that extra little touch past Reddles. That was beautiful by Vatira. This is a big moment. Just to give a little context to like where we are right now. This, of course, is the 21-22 Winter Major lower bracket finals. But more specifically, SSG came into this. They're the 5th seed in North America. This is when we were still sending 5 from each region. And, you know, they had an okay event. They didn't make the fall major. It was their first time picking up Daniel. Sipical said, hey, deuces, I'm out of here. I want to play with First Killer. And they said, that's fine. We'll get the, you know, best Wonder Kid that we have to offer in North America in Daniel. And they were unable to get even to the LAN in fall, and then now they're the 5th seed, so they barely clawed it out here. And there were a lot of teams hot on their tail. Complexity, Team Envy, but they ended up making it, as Daniel heads up play is going to allow Reddles to roll one in there, and they get really lucky with their group, or unlucky, you know, depending on how it would have gone. But They only have 3 in Group D because Sandrock Gaming, who we all kind of know as Team Falcons, Ahmad TRK, and Khaled. Almost said DJ Khaled. We're, again, we're getting rid of the rest here, guys. They couldn't make it due to visa issues, so the group was just Dignitas, who was Jack, Jorias, and Scrub Killa. And then, who was the other one? I think Pioneers, which was Scrub, not Killa, just good old-fashioned Scrub, Locky, and who am I forgetting? Banana Head, of course. So they go 2-0 in groups. I think they reverse sweep Dig, then they got the gentleman sweep on Pioneers. So they end up 2-0 in the group, and they get one of the top 4 seeds. They beat version 1. They're kind of inter-regional rivals, or one of them, if you will. And then they get dropped down by G2. Excuse me, they get dropped down by G2. I had a little bit of lunch before this. And then they find themselves here against Team Queso, who is going for just the God run. As Rise is going to miss. Arsenal, trying to go unorthodox, is going to slow it down and try and get the 50 there against Vatira. Isn't able to do so. Demo on Rise, through the smoke, bump on Joyo. What's up? That's how you go up 2-1. And, that's worth 0 points. That's the kind of stuff that Arsenal did all the time. But yeah, Team Queso is going on quite a run here. They took down Furia. I can't remember exactly who else, but they've taken down a ton of teams in order to get here. And you'll see here, anytime Arsenal is goes past the ball, he'll kind of creep upfield to see if he can get a bump or a demo. And Team Queso are starting to get wise to it, but they also have a ton of respect for it. You'll see them constantly stop and start. And that would have been, if Reddles would have been there, a sick pass. But, that's the kind of stuff that Arsenal is doing here, as Vatira is going to cut in on that. Wave dash down. Vatira still has a little bit of action on the ball. Joyo's going to go for the beat. Arsenal lets him. Daniel on the back wall. Rebels with the demo. Going to run into each other here. And look at this. The no-look. Ball cam on, baby. Arsenal jumps, just gets the read, the magic trick there, which could have tied up the series. It's always funny to watch back just these replays without the commentators, because you can't really, it just seems like a defensive stop, but huge defensive stop there. This is gonna pop out. Reddles up quick. Rise is there, a lot of space. Arsenal with the dime. Reddles goes a little high on the shot, but beautiful dime there, and getting down to the death. Arsenal pops that one ahead. He likes to cycle up for those big boosts into the corner and then kind of come back into the play from behind. But that's how we're going to get evened up. Arsenal still LVP on the team. But again, that bump and demo combination, we're able to put them up, and then the defensive save on the other end. That really was an Arsenal win in a lot of ways. So we're equal here. Let's move on in the series. I don't know if I'm going to do game 3 next, so find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Let me pause, check out the games, and we'll be right back. All right, we skipped 3, we skipped 4. They were low-scoring affairs, great games, but for the sake of not doing 7 games in the first video back, the series is tied. We're 2-2. Wasteland for game 5. I'm so disappointed that we don't have Wasteland anymore. I think, do I remember correctly that there was some kind of issue with, they fixed the issue with the ramps or something like that. Is it just the particles of the world, the sand or whatever? I really wish we brought Wasteland back. I love this map. Reddles, upfield demo. Arsenal with the finger roll layup to put them up 30 seconds into game 5 here. But I think I said it at the beginning. This is kind of the peak of Arsenal's career. This season X 21-22 kind of section here, when SSG were just rolling. Of course, the Daniel teams weren't it took them a little while to get going, right? But that season X team, which unfortunately we didn't have any international competition to have a great measuring stick of how they kind of were going up. And look at this, another transition. Arsenal barely misses there and is going to just try and hedge Joyo off of the ball. Should probably get dusted here, but does get up to that pretty quickly. And then tries to go for the bump. Joyo is aware of it, but look at this. This is like the Arsenal effect, right? It's like having a good big in the NBA, like a shot blocker, where it's like, just because you don't get 8 blocks a game doesn't mean you're not altering a ton of shots. And look at this. Joyo knows Arsenal's behind him. Arsenal with the touch pass forward, and Reynolds is right there to dunk it home. That's 2-0 on the OG Reynolds and Arsenal combination. Of course, the two of them ended up squashing the beef, but probably the most famous beef in RLCS history. There might be one that I'm forgetting, but definitely one of the most, just because of the way that it kind of shook out and them being boys, and you know, they ended up getting past it. But yeah, I'm just, you know, over the last couple of days, I've been thinking a lot about these players and their careers, and so a lot of things are kind of rattling around in the old noggin as Daniel goes a little bit high on what would have been 3-0 there. Arsenal tries to get up and get the bump on Rise, who gets over it. Tries to go for Joyo, too. He's just a menace. Can't get rid of him. Another series that I'll remember from Arsenal is like the flu game. I think that was the season after this, or maybe it was like spring. I can't remember exactly. But he was like super sick, and they, you know, went to, I think, round 5 against, what was that, Pioneers? Was it? And they ended up, you know, winning it. And then Arsenal had like a pretty great series too, with some big moments, and then he ends up like sprinting off stage immediately. Yeah, you know, it's always a little odd to see these careers come to an end. And I'll probably do a video on AJ as well, but I might double dip. Something that stood out to me from what he said was kind of losing the passion for the game, right? And that's kind of the big determining factor, where with like the NBA, you kind of get aged out, right? Where it's like, all right, Tracy McGrady, you're done, dude. Like Carmelo Anthony, you're done, dude. You don't have the legs as a, you know, late 30-year-old, mid 30-year-old to contend with some of these, you know, 18 to 22-year-olds. But with Rocket League, it's an even playing field. Everybody has the same cars, the same, you know, the same capacity to do what they want with the car. Nobody's taller than anybody else, faster than anyone else, getting more boost than anyone else. It's just about motivation. And I think Arsenal said he was going to come out with a video. At the time of recording this, I haven't seen it yet. But I wonder if he's going to talk about motivation, because he's definitely a player who seemingly would have got the opportunity with a pretty solid roster. And I wonder if just the opportunities that he had weren't up to snuff, or if he just is kind of done with the game in this sense, right? From like a professional aspect, like, you know, having to grind as much as you do and stay motivated. Him and AJ have both kind of carved out great, you know, post-professional careers for themselves with the content streams that they've been able to set up. What a save by Daniel right on the goal line there. So great that Arsenal is going to kind of be sticking around the scene. A lot of players can't really, you know, say the same. When they're going to call it quits, they're kind of done. Look, here we go. Reynolds and Arsenal in transition. Arsenal going to back it up. So cool, so calm. Going to just tuck that one over to the corner. And here we go again in transition. This SSG team really like to get out and run. And those are always the best Arsenal teams, where he had the ability to get out and do that. Get out, get ahead of the play. 2-1 for the series here is going to get down to this boost. And they're just trying to kill it here. It looks like that is it. So Arsenal, 1-1-1 across the board, 4 shots to his name, is going to be leading the charge here for Game 5. So they have put themselves onto match point. So for the last 2 games, I'm sure we'll have some other parting thoughts that'll come up around Arsenal, but I really want to focus in on the gameplay and you know, see what was going on in the 21-22 season. So we'll be right back. All right, backs against the wall. Will Team Queso be able to answer? Yes. Yes, they will. They're going to answer. But not before Daniel gets this. What on earth? This is Daniel POV. Look at this. This is so gross. The standard octane with the Zombas. I mean, but that was clean, though. The Zombas are quick wheels. I admit it. But I like to, if you're going to go, you know, they're so flashy that I feel like the matte octane, it's just not it for me. I think if you're going to do it, you got to match the colorway, right? Like, you got to go with something that's like a matte pink or yellow or green, like something that's in the Zomba colors. This just ain't it for me. But, you know, he deserves to get bumped and dunked on like that because of those wheels. Let's find ourselves back to Arsenal. Let's actually look through real quick before we get into the gameplay here. This is respectable. I like this. It's unique. I like the colorways. This like dark brown, this like chocolate mauve mocha, whatever you want to call it, of the Finnick. Huge fan. Weird color. I dig it. Black standard boost. Big fan of that as well. Cristiano's undefeated. Kind of like the Jordan 1s of wheels. Let's look around. Slater here on basically the Stocktane in red. What are those? Just like the standard DSEs or whatever. I mean, you know, this was kind of Slater's car at the time. Reddles' car, so I get it. Already talked about that one. Rise. It's going to be a no for me, dog. These, what are these? Like Black Invaders, I think. These are like the 4 prongs. The only other player I've seen use these was JNaps. Yeah, it's just ain't it for me. I'm not a big fan of that like Interstellar decal either. I like this. Who is this? This must be Vatira. This is pretty clean. Kind of like it looks black, but it's not. It's like a really, really dark red on the secondary with the alpha boost. Nice. And then Joyo. This is what's a good comparison? This has never been for me, but I get it. I know that it's really, really popular. This is like, wow, what a dunk. This is like it's a good example. Who's got some like ugly shoes that I've just never really understood? This is like a lot of the KD models, to be honest with you. I see them, I get them. I'm gonna pass. Some of them are clean, but a lot of them are not. Especially the ones, you know, like the ones with the straps that you put over the shoelaces on like this part of your foot. Any shoes that have that, I'm gonna pass. All right, let's lock in. Back on Arsenal point of view. Vatira trying to go for a whirling dervish quadruple reset there. Arsenal trying to stick on the ball, but not own goal. Stuck behind it, gonna slow down. No boost, Arsenal stand on the play. We're in transition, this must be stay station. I love doing that in competitive play. Going through, even when I don't need to, and then coming out, wave dashing it down. Super sick. Arsenal has not had boost for about 25 seconds now, has still been participating in the play, and decides to go get it now. Joyo tries to keep up to that one, cannot. Arsenal is just trying to go for the team pinch there. Trip up Vatira on the way out. Reddles bumps that one up. Not going to panic here, he's just going to take a touch. A lot of people would have just kicked that out, but not Arsenal, who unfortunately with that play is going to put them in an unfortunate position here, and this is kind of the stranglehold spot that Queso like to have. We've probably been on this side for a little bit now, and there's the conceded goal. 4-2, 2 minutes left. Not looking good. Space Station going to have to answer pretty quickly here. Excuse me. Reddles pops over the top of Joyo. Arsenal gets a bump. One man to beat, but Vatira is going to shut it down. No boost for Arsenal, unfortunately, so he has to get off of that play. Vatira is going to get behind him. And, yeah, it's not looking super hot. We're more than likely going to a Game 7. What are you guys going to remember most about Arsenal's career? Is there a specific game, a specific moment, like a specific goal or series that really stands out to you? Or is it more, you know, his content creation, some of the stuff that he was known for on the pitch him kind of bringing demos into the fold, his kind of full speed approach. Let me know in the comments down below. Interested to hear from you guys. Oh, here we go. A little bit of a heads up play here. Daniel gets over the top, and they just cannot put that one away. Arsenal, it seemed like he thought it might go high, and he was going to try and like defend from behind, but kind of just out of position there. In a good spot there as well, but you know, at this point, I understand what they're doing. Like, you got to play a little more aggressively, and I always love these little, like, after Arsenal has these interactions on the 50s, and both of the players are kind of at like a standstill, he'll just like on his way out, like, you know, toss a little elbow, just kind of like hit somebody. Arsenal was always a super fun watch. I remember when I watched him early on and being like, this is kind of what I want my game to be like. And honestly, like at a much lower quality, this is the belleair experience. Like, if you ever get me as a teammate, this is it. Not going to go for anything mechy. Going to try and get behind the play when the other team is going down and get a bump or a demo to open up space the other direction. Trying to, you know, play a lot of bumps and demos and just be a nuisance to the other team. But Arsenal, once again, low man on the totem pole, only a $1.82 on the score, an assist to his name, and Daniel goes 1 for 7 in the shooting department. It all comes down to this. It all comes down to Champions Field. So let's hop on over and see one of the most memorable moments in RLCS history. Champs Field. This is for all the marbles. And immediately we got a reset. I remember that happening as well. It was like, all right, big moment. I was in I had the pleasure of, the only LAN I've gone to was the World Championship 2 seasons ago when it was in Fort Worth. And I remember, like, Stacks gives the big, like, impassioned, like, this is it, the grand finals for, you know, it all comes down to this, and this, like, great, and there's all this energy and buzz in the crowd, and everybody's pumped up. And they did a countdown, like a 10-second countdown. It's like 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. We're experiencing technical difficulties, and everybody was like, oh. So I guess this one had a reset as well. I don't remember what this one was like beforehand, but I'll always remember that moment. Just kind of immediately deflating everybody. And then we ended up having a terrible grand finals. Bump on Vatira, demo on Vatira rather, tries to kind of hook in and get Rise as well. And look at this. 2 up from Queso, but they're going to cover up really nicely. Rise is going to stick on it. And yeah, like, this Team Queso, man. Arsenal is going to unorthodox, slow float, get off the wall here, try and go for the 50. Reynolds is not close enough to the play. It's going to get demoed out by Vatira. And then there's a finger roll layup off the beat from Joyo in the corner on Daniel. 1-0. Once Team Queso kind of gets you in that, once they get you backed into your own corner, it's like a boxer. Like, once you're up against the ropes, it's really hard to finesse your way out. And that style, there's a nice little save there by Arsenal to get up, but it's not going to matter. No teammates are to cover up. 2-0 immediately. Not the start you want if you're SSG. What Team Queso were doing to teams, like opening things up early and like really, you know, beating you with like a 4-1, 3-0 in game 1. It reminds me of like the UFC, where like if you're going up against like a really great wrestler, of course it's based on cardio, but you kind of want to like allow them to like wear themselves out. And then if you're like a boxer, or you're trying to like, you know, really like, you know, throw some hands instead of just like being on the mat the whole time. Once you get through a round or two and they're kind of like worn out, Arsenal, what's going on, buddy? Then you kind of can open it up once they've worn themselves down a little bit. That's kind of what SSG did against Queso here, where it's like they bleed a lot early, but then they kind of, you know, kind of get down into the nitty gritty, as it were, and even the series back up. Rise is coming for you, Arsenal. You got to look out. Stole that boost in the corner as well. And for anybody watching in the future, at this point in the RLCS, you might already know this, but at this point in, well, actually Rocket League, there's no respawn camera. And that's going to be important when we look at this play later on here. But at the time, you didn't know where you were going to actually respawn at. It was just a 50-50 chance. And almost cuts in there. Rise is wise to it. He's going to get out of the way. Bump on Vatira. Arsenal is way out of the play with no boost. Luckily, the corner spawned. He's going to stay away. Pops up early here. What's going to do with it? Ceiling, reset. Accidentally, I guess, backflips out of it. But we're still here. We're still in the corner. Arsenal's going to pop this one. Look at just this, like, kind of weird stuff where he's, like, slowing it down. It looks like he's kind of knocked off the ball, but then he's actually, like, still totally on top of it. Tries to pop that one out to the middle, and that's going to send us going the other direction, unfortunately. Going to pop this one up. No boost. Stuck in his own goal here, and yet tried to come out, get that corner boost. Very comfortable in leaving his two teammates in goal by themselves. Pops that one up into the middle to at least slow it down, give Daniel a second to rotate out. Daniel's going to slice that one off the side. Arsenal tries to get up quick to this one. We're only at a minute, so we got to go here. Rel's going to kick this one out. Daniel finds his way into the corner, and here we go. Arsenal. All day. Every day. One more time. He's way ahead of the play here. Can't find a boost. Doesn't matter. Understands the situation. Sees the beat. Grabs the boost. Vatira tries to slow down to, like, duck out of the way and still get on it. Arsenal says absolutely not. Tracked him like a magnet. And that's how you get one back on the board here. Space Station are trying to get another one quick. This one pops out. Arsenal is going to cut way upfield. Realizes the situation, is going to cut back for that mid boost. Has all the time in the world. Is unable to get the skim double there. Joya's going to pop it. Arsenal's not going to play that game. Tries to cut this one out. And well. What do we have here? We have a demo on the play. Vatira is the only man back. And Reddles is now sprinting ahead of the play. Do you guys know where we are yet? Here's Arsenal with all the boost in the world coming up field. Reddles is all over Vatira. This looks like it's going to be a layup, game 7. We might be going to overtime here. Vatira still gets a little bit of a touch on the ball. Reddles is unable to shake him off. Arsenal, 5 boosts, is going to try and just edge this one across the net. Rise says absolutely not. Let's watch it back one more time, and we're going to watch it from Rise's point of view as well here. But this moment, and I mean, you just gotta, I'll link it down below, or you know what, I probably won't thread it in, but you just gotta go watch this one live. This moment was unbelievable. Just skin of your teeth. Rise point of view here if we could. Gets demoed, doesn't know where he's gonna respawn. So if he goes the wrong direction off his respawn, he's totally out of the play, will not be able to make a touch. Gambles correctly, turns right, gets there just in time off his own post, and we're going the other way. Just unbelievable stuff. That moment will probably haunt SSG. What could have been? They could have found themselves back up against G2. Who knows if they would have actually won, but you know, just right there, as close as it gets. Arsenal gets demoed the other way out, and Reddles is unable to keep it up. That, unfortunately, is going to be GG's to Space Station, who are eliminated top 3 from the Winter Major after coming in as the 5th seed. Great stuff. Parting thoughts. Really sad that Arsenal has decided to go. I still felt like he was a super competitive player. Even at this stage in his career. You can't bet against him in whatever team he would have been on. But I guess if we want to try and be glass half full with players like him and AJ leaving the scene, it is kind of the circle of life with this stuff, right? And also we get, you know, some new young players who are going to be stepping up, which is great to see. So thank you to Arsenal for everything. for an excellent career, for always being such a fun watch, and for being one of the players who I, mimic my own play style after. You were way better at it than I was. But yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're still here and listening, could you do me a favor? Could you let me know in the comments below? I'm getting back. I'm back on the daily content, at least weekdays. But if you could let me know, do you like this longer style content or commentary, where this one's like 5 games, or would you prefer 3, or would you prefer 2? Let me know kind of what. I'm curious to hear what my listeners are kind of looking for, so that I can provide you the kind of entertainment that you're looking for. So as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. And until next time, guys, take it easy.
And that's dished behind Reddles. Now Joyo with 30 to go, trying to add one more.
The demo.
Demolished.
He's going upfield.
He's hunted. He got